She didn't flinch when the railbolt screamed toward her face. She simply tilted her head, caught the molten projectile between two fingers, and sighed like someone disappointed in a lukewarm cup of tea. That was the first moment Lieutenant Arin Voss realized he might have made a catastrophic mistake. The battlefield was not really a battlefield at all, more like the galaxy's most chaotic waiting room. The Orion Trade Hub, neutral territory for 17 starfaring species, had been built with the architectural philosophy of make it big and hope nobody notices the cracks. Unfortunately, today, everyone noticed everything. Relays sparked, drone vendors screamed, an entire wall flickered between advertisements for luxury hoverpods and emergency evacuation arrows, and somewhere deeper inside the station, something, probably illegal, was roaring loud enough to rattle teeth. Arin hadn't planned on starting a fight before breakfast. He'd only come here for replacement stabilizer coils. But when a 2-meter-tall mercenary in purple armor shoved past him and snarled, "Move, mammal!" Arin had made the ill-advised decision to reply, "I would, but you seem to be blocking all 3 dimensions." The mercenary, Kroll of Clan Vurok, did not appreciate humor. That was how Arin had ended up firing a railbolt at a woman he'd never met. Well, woman wasn't the right word. Human, yes. But not like any human Arin had ever seen. She had stepped between him and the mercenary in a blur, no shimmer, no sound, just a shift in the air, and the next thing he knew, she'd plucked the railbolt gently out of the air and was looking at him with an expression halfway between annoyance and amusement. "Seriously?" she said, examining the still-glowing bolt. "You aimed this at my chest?" Arin's throat tightened. I thought you were attacking him." "Why would I attack you? You look like someone who gets tired walking upstairs." Kroll growled. "Human, step aside. The mammal insulted me. He dies." She popped the cooling rail bolt into her pocket. "You're a mammal too." "Not that kind," Kroll thundered, slamming a fist into the metal flooring hard enough to crack it. The human woman didn't even blink. Arin glanced around desperately. The crowd was gathering, a mixture of species placing bets, recording vids, or backing away before the inevitable chaos. Station security had not yet arrived. They never did until at least 3 limbs had been severed, and even then, only reluctantly. Arin whispered to the stranger. "Thanks for saving my life. I think." Who are you?" She brushed a strand of black hair behind her ear and shrugged. "Name's Renn. I'm just passing through." "Passing through?" Arin squeaked. "You caught a railbolt. Mid-air. With 2 fingers. "Yeah, well," she muttered. "It was slow." Kroll's eyes bulged. "Human. Fight me or move." Renn looked him up and down like she was debating whether he was worth the calories. "I would, but you seem fragile." "Big but fragile. Like a decorative vase." Arin winced. Kroll did not appreciate metaphors either. The mercenary lunged. Renn sighed again, apparently deeply tired of today's events, and shifted her stance exactly an inch to the left. Somehow, impossibly, that tiny movement caused Kroll to miss completely, slam into the vendor stall behind her, shatter it, and get tangled in a web of sticky noodles and robotic ladles. Arin had no idea how she'd done it. He replayed the moment in his mind, even blinked hard, expecting his vision to realign. No luck. She had moved too fast, too precisely, like someone who had spent decades training in gravity wells stronger than most species could survive. Kroll roared, hurling noodles off his face. "Human! I will break." "Actually," Renn said, "you won't." She didn't raise her voice. Didn't posture. Didn't even take a fighting stance. She simply spoke calm and factual, like she was saying the station cafe was out of sugar again. And Kroll froze. Completely froze. It wasn't fear, not at first. It was confusion. Then disbelief. Then a growling, primal recognition of something predators shouldn't feel when facing prey. Arin felt it too. He couldn't explain it, but he felt it, an instinctive awareness that there was something profoundly dangerous standing next to him, wearing a casual jacket and complaining about slow projectiles. Renn turned to him. You good? I think so. Great. Because you really shouldn't fire weapons inside a multi-species trade hub. That's how you get allergies. Punishments? No. Allergies, she said seriously. The Kurtani release spores when startled. Arin paled. He'd heard about Kurtani spores. They caused uncontrollable sneezing for 72 hours and smelled faintly like burnt onions. Before he could respond, the station lights flickered again. This time they didn't come back on. A deep alarm began to rumble through the walls. Not the usual. Someone blew up a vending machine. Alarm. The heavy, resonant, terrifying alarm, the one that meant something catastrophic was happening. The crowd went dead silent. Renn frowned, head tilted slightly as if listening to something only she could hear. That, she said slowly, is not good. Arin's stomach twisted. What is it? Renn locked eyes with him, something sharp and calculating behind her expression. Whatever it is, she said, we're going to be right in the middle of it. And for reasons he couldn't explain, Arin believed her completely. People started running long before the announcement came, and that was usually a very bad sign. When the galaxy panicked before the station AI did, it meant the problem wasn't technical, it was alive. Arin felt his pulse spike as species of every shape and limb count scattered in all directions, some tripping over their own feet, others climbing the walls, a few simply vanishing using teleport spores. Even the vendors abandoned their stalls. That alone told him something was catastrophically wrong. Renn didn't run. She stood perfectly still in the dark corridor, eyes narrowed, listening the way predators listen right before they decided who to eat. Arin swallowed hard. Do you know what's happening? Something big just latched onto the station hull, she said calmly. About 60 meters wide. 200 long. Heavy. Organic. Organic? Arin squeaked. Like a creature? Like a creature with bad manners. A violent tremor shook the entire station. The floor rippled. Panels burst free. Sparks showered the walkway. Kroll, who had finally freed himself from the noodles, let out a terrified yelp and sprinted in the opposite direction, flipping 3 vendor carts as he fled. Renn didn't even watch him go. Her attention was fixed upward. Arin followed her gaze, and immediately wished he hadn't. The ceiling lights flickered back on for half a second, just long enough to illuminate what was crawling across the transparent upper dome of the trade hub, a nightmarish mass of tendrils, spines, and chitin plates scraping against the metal. Its shadow swallowed entire corridors. Its claws punctured through support beams like paper. Oh stars, Arin whispered. That's a Chiron Leviathan, Renn finished. Feeding age. Hungry. Irritable. Probably attracted by the station's power readings. Arin nearly collapsed. Those things can eat warships. Only the cheap ones. That's not helping. Another tremor tore through the hub. A thunderous crack echoed above as one of the domes buckled inward. Alien families shrieked and scattered, station drones scrambled out of their docks, and the emergency lights failed for the 3rd time in a row. Arin steadied himself against the wall. We need to evacuate. We will, Renn said. But not until we stop that thing from chewing through the structural spine. You want to fight it? Renn tilted her head. Did you have a better idea? Arin opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. Nothing sensible came out. Renn gave him a sympathetic pat on the shoulder. Thought so. Come on. She walked straight toward the shaking corridor while everyone else ran away from it. Arin hesitated for 3 seconds before following, mostly because the floor behind him cracked open and a sizzling claw punctured through it. As they moved deeper into the hub, the emergency AI finally activated the station-wide announcement. Attention! Structural compromise detected. Please proceed to designated evacuation zones. Do not panic. This was immediately followed by the sounds of 12,000 individuals panicking. Renn sighed. They never listen. Arin dodged a fallen beam. What exactly is our plan? Simple, Renn said. We keep the Leviathan busy so it doesn't reach the energy core. If it gets there, it'll rupture the antimatter lines and, well, we'll all get a very fast tan. That's not simple. It's simple for me. What does that even? A thunderous roar shook the station. A moment later, a talon stabbed through the wall to their right, shredding steel layers like fabric. The 3-meter-long claw pinned a cargo crate in place, lifted it, and crushed it to pieces. Arin froze. Renn didn't. She grabbed him by the sleeve and yanked him through a maintenance hatch just before the claws swept across the hallway. They tumbled into a narrow maintenance conduit. Arin struggled to catch his breath. We're going to die. We're actually going to die. Not today, Renn said, brushing dust off her jacket. Not unless you start screaming. Don't scream. I don't scream. You're screaming. Arin clamped his mouth shut. The conduit vibrated as the Leviathan's weight shifted overhead. Sheets of metal groaned. A shower of dust rained down. Something massive scraped across the surface, seeking access to the internal power channels. Renn tapped the wall lightly. It's trying to find a weak spot. Smart creature. Terrible hygiene. How do you know so much about these things? Renn paused. I used to hunt them. Arin blinked. Used to what? Hunt them. Track them. Relocate them. Sometimes fight them. My team specialized in high-risk biological extractions. That sounds insane. It paid well. Another bone-rattling crash ripped through the conduit. Arin clung to a pipe. Renn remained perfectly balanced, even as the walls buckled around them. Arin stared at her. You're not normal, are you? Renn gave him a faint smile. I never claimed to be. Before he could respond, a massive impact smashed through the ceiling of the conduit. A gigantic eye peered through the opening, slitted, glowing, scanning. Arin's blood turned to ice. The eye locked onto them. Renn exhaled. Well, that complicates things. The Leviathan let out a roar so powerful the entire corridor shook like a shuttle re-entry. Renn reached for something inside her jacket. Arin stared. What are you doing? Trying something creative, she said, pulling out the railbolt he had fired earlier, still warped, still faintly glowing. She flicked it casually. It ignited with a snap. Then she looked at the Leviathan's enormous eye, grinned, and said, Hey, ugly. Fetch. She whipped the bolt upward like a slingshot. The Leviathan shrieked, recoiling violently. The corridor exploded with movement, metal bending as the creature thrashed blindly. Arin gasped. You just made it angrier. Good, Renn said. Now it's paying attention to us, and not the antimatter core. She turned, motioning for him to run. Come on, Arin. Round 2 starts now. Arin didn't think a human could drag a grown man at sprinting speed while dodging falling debris, but Renn proved him wrong. She hauled him through twisting maintenance tubes with impossible precision, always moving seconds before a talon stabbed through the walls. The station groaned like a dying beast, each vibration signaling the Leviathan's growing fury. Just when Arin thought they were safe for half a second, the corridor ahead ruptured, exploding inward as a tendril ripped through it, shredding cables and pipes. Arin stumbled backward, but Renn shoved him aside and planted her boot against the tendril. With a single explosive push, she sent the monstrous limb recoiling, leaving a crater in the bulkhead. Did you just kick a 40-ton bioengineered apex predator? Arin gasped. Renn rolled her shoulders. Lightly. Another tremor ripped through the station, followed by a sound no one should ever hear, metal screaming. The Leviathan was climbing deeper, tearing through support structures like cardboard. Its enormous mass shifted, the deck tilting sharply. Civilians somewhere above them screamed as gravity itself lurched. Arin clung to a railing. It's heading for the central core. Not if we get its attention again. Renn punched the nearest wall panel. It sparked, then opened, revealing a vertical shaft descending into shadow. Arin peered down and nearly passed out. It was a maintenance drop, 40 meters deep, pitch black, with only old rungs bolted into the sides. You want us to climb down that? No, Renn said, stepping in. Arin's panic spiked. Wait! She jumped. Arin shrieked and stumbled into the opening just in time to see her drop like a stone, and then land in a perfectly controlled crouch at the bottom, as if she had simply stepped down a single stair. Her voice drifted up. Jump or climb, Arin. Leviathan's choosing for you in 10 seconds. A thunderous roar shook the shaft. Dust rained down. A talon punched through the ceiling above him, searching. Arin didn't hesitate. He jumped. He managed to scream for only the first half of the fall before Renn blurred upward, caught him midair like he weighed nothing, and set him gently on his feet. This, Arin gasped, has been the worst shopping trip of my life. You need better hobbies. A massive crash above cut the banter short. The Leviathan had found the shaft, and it was forcing its bulk downward. The creature was too large to fit, but that didn't matter. It simply reshaped itself, bones cracking and plates shifting as its body compressed grotesquely. Arin gagged. Nope. That's cheating. That's biological cheating. Renn's expression hardened. We're out of time. She sprinted down the maintenance corridor, Arin scrambling behind her. Ahead, a sealed blast door loomed. Renn slapped the emergency release. Nothing happened. Arin wheezed. It's locked. Renn stepped forward, gripped the manual override, and tore the reinforced handle out with a metal-warping crunch. Sparks flew. The door screeched halfway open. Arin stared. You're not human. Not right now, she muttered. Move. They ducked through the gap just as the Leviathan's jaws snapped shut behind them, tearing the walls to shreds. The entire corridor shook so violently Arin nearly hit the floor. Something massive rammed against the door, once, twice, each impact bending it inward. Renn! It's breaking through! I can see that. A final blow smashed the door off its rails. The creature surged forward, its hide scraping sparks across the floor. Renn stepped between Arin and the monster. Arin looked at her and saw something he hadn't seen before. Not annoyance, not humor, but focus. Raw, terrifying focus. The kind predators feared. Renn whispered. Stay behind me. The Leviathan lunged. Renn moved. Not fast, impossibly fast. In the space between two heartbeats, she closed the distance, planted her foot, and delivered an upward strike that sent a shockwave rippling through the corridor. The Leviathan's massive head snapped back, crashing against the ceiling with a bone-crunching impact. Arin's mind went blank. She had stunned a Leviathan, a creature feared by military fleets, with one hit. But it only paused for a moment. Then it roared, a furious, ear-shattering blast of sound, and struck again, this time faster. Tendrils lashed out from every direction. Renn danced between them. She didn't just dodge, she flowed. She bent reality with the smallest movements, leaning inches, shifting her weight, turning sideways so a tendril thicker than her torso sliced through empty air. Arin could only watch, stunned silent. Renn grabbed a pipe, swung upward, planted both feet on the Leviathan's face, and pushed off with a force that cracked its skull plating. The beast howled, slamming its head into the wall, shaking the corridor like an earthquake. It's learning your patterns! Arin shouted. I was hoping it would. Renn skidded to a halt, glancing around. We need to end this before it reaches the core. How? Renn pointed at the massive turbine chamber at the end of the hall. That's a gravity inverter. If we lure it inside, I can overload it. Arin paled. Overloading it can flatten half the station. Only if I miss. You miss? Sometimes. She shrugged. On purpose. The Leviathan roared again, charging straight toward them with enough force to collapse the entire sector. Renn grabbed Arin by the wrist. Hope you can run, she said. Then she sprinted straight toward the turbine room, the Leviathan tearing the corridor apart behind them, each thunderous step shaking the station to its core. Arin had never run so fast in his life, mostly because behind him thundered a creature large enough to eat a carrier ship but currently angry enough to ignore the laws of biology, physics, and good sense. Every impact from the Leviathan's limbs sent cracks racing across the floor, chunks of plating collapsing into darkness. The beast roared, the sound vibrating in Arin's bones like a war drum. Renn didn't slow. She sprinted straight into the turbine chamber, an enormous cylindrical room with a glowing central column humming with gravitational energy. Thousands of power coils spiraled around it like a metallic serpent. Warning lights strobed across the walls. Arin stumbled through after her, gasping. "Tell me there's a plan that doesn't kill us." "There is," she said. "Oh, thank. We just haven't invented it yet." Arin choked. "That's not a plan." A deafening crash cut him off as the Leviathan smashed into the chamber, tearing the doorway to shrapnel. Its tendrils clattered across the metal floor, hunting for traction. Its jaws opened, venting a deep, hungry growl. Renn stepped forward alone, eyes locked on the monster. The Leviathan lunged. Renn didn't dodge. She ran straight at it. Arin's heart stopped. Renn pivoted, slid under a sweeping tendril, and jumped, straight toward the glowing central column. She grabbed a support strut, swung around it, and landed on the elevated turbine platform. "HEY!" she shouted at the Leviathan. "Last chance to take a nap!" It slammed its entire weight toward her. Renn slammed her boot onto the manual override panel. The gravitational field inverted. For one impossible moment the world folded upward. Everything, loose tools, torn wires, broken panels, Arin himself, lifted off the ground, pulled toward the ceiling. The Leviathan, mid-charge, was ripped off balance and hurled upward with a guttural roar. Its claws carved trenches into the walls as it fought the pull. Arin flailed helplessly. "Renn! I'm floating! Good! Means it's working!" He spun. "I don't want it to work!" Renn ignored him. She leapt against the pull of gravity, using the turbine's metal ribs like handholds. She climbed toward the central control column while the Leviathan slammed against the ceiling, pinned in place by the inverted field. But the monster adapted. It twisted, contorted, reshaping its internal bones. Arin watched in horror as the Leviathan anchored two of its tendrils deep into the ceiling plating, pulling itself downward, fighting the field with sheer biological ferocity. "Renn!" Arin cried. "It's breaking free!" Renn reached the primary controls. "Buy me 10 seconds! How am I supposed to buy anything from that thing?" But he didn't think. Didn't plan. He grabbed a hanging power conduit, swung himself toward a console, and screaming like a malfunctioning kettle, punched every emergency switch he could reach. A racking pulse surged through the chamber. Panels burst in a shower of sparks. A high-frequency shockwave rippled through the air. The Leviathan convulsed, its grip faltering. "Nice!" Renn shouted. "Now hold it! I can't even hold my own sanity!" Renn slammed both hands onto the turbine core, literally onto the humming containment shell. Energy arced around her arms like living lightning. Arin shielded his face against the blinding glow. "What are you doing?" he yelled. "Overloading the inverter. That'll vaporize us. Only if I let it." The Leviathan shrieked, finally tearing itself free of the ceiling. It lunged downward, straight at Arin. Arin screamed. Renn didn't hesitate. She yanked the containment lines apart. The entire turbine erupted in a vortex of warped gravity. Space bent. The air twisted. The chamber became a crushing, spinning sphere of folding energy. The Leviathan was ripped sideways, slammed into the vortex, and spun violently, its tendrils stretching into spirals of distorted flesh as the overload pulled it apart from the inside out. Arin clung to a broken railing, feeling his bones vibrate. Renn held the core steady with both hands, muscles locked, eyes blazing with a determination that felt older than she looked. "Come on!" she growled. "Break, already!" The Leviathan shrieked one last time, then imploded, collapsing into itself in a flash of blue distortion that shook the station from end to end. Silence fell. Gravity returned like a slap. Arin slammed onto the floor with a pained grunt. Sparks drifted like embers. Smoke curled from broken panels. Renn collapsed to one knee but didn't fall. Arin staggered to her side. You did it! She wiped soot from her face. We did it! You almost died! You almost got eaten! There! Alarms echoed faintly, less frantic now, more confused than terrified. Arin helped her stand. Renn, what are you? She gave him a tired smile. Human. Just slightly upgraded. He blinked. Only slightly? Depends who you ask. The turbine chamber doors finally slid open and a dozen species peeked inside, trembling. When they saw the corpse, if one could call the twisted smear of Leviathan remains a corpse, their expressions changed. Fear. Respect. One whispered. The humans saved the station. Another murmured. She fought a Leviathan alone. Renn grimaced. Great. Rumors. Arin grinned weakly. Hey, could be worse. Like what? A tiny floating alien held up a camera. Excuse me, heroic human, can you repeat the part where you caught a railbolt midair for my documentary? Renn sighed. Arin burst out laughing. And despite the shattered walls, the sparks, the smoke, the bruises, the exhaustion, Renn let herself laugh too. Because they were alive. Because they had won. And because somewhere in the wreckage of the galaxy, word was spreading fast. You don't pick a fight with humans. Not if you want the fight to last longer than one punch. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to the Void Narratives for more HFY sci-fi.